Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter-Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
We head back to March 21st, 1947 for an episode of Murder at Midnight. This episode entitled The Secret of XR3.
Murder at Midnight.
Fool! You idiot! I'll fix you. I'll take you back there. A razor. No, don't. I told you not to touch me. Now it's all over. We've played our last performance together.
Midnight, the witching hour, when the night is darkest, our fears the strongest, and our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight, when the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute in The Secret of XR3. And now, Murder at Midnight. Tales of mystery and terror by radio's masters of the macabre. Our story by Max Ehrlich is The Secret of XR3. The death house. A man sits in a tiny cell, his head bowed, waiting for the moment when he will pass from light to eternal shadow. The clock ticks on, but the time is not quite yet. Then footsteps sound in the corridor. The door opens.
It's almost time, my son.
Yes, Father. I know.
Is there anything I can do?
No. Still, I'm glad you've come. Father, look at me. Look at me closely.
Yes?
I frighten you, don't I? I terrify you.
No. No, my son. Nothing frightens me except the evil in men's hearts.
Am I evil?
I don't know, my son.
Father, just sit down. Let me tell you my story, and then when I've finished, perhaps you can tell me. They call me Gorgo. All my life I've been a little man, only 3 feet high. Perfectly normal in every way, you see, except for my height. Perhaps you saw me down at the Century Theater not so long ago, the vaudeville team of Petrov and Gorgo, acrobats supreme. Petrov was a huge, ape-like man who tossed me through the air like a rubber ball. And the audience liked the act. The contrast between the big Petrov and the little Gorgo intrigued and amused them. And on the stage, I laughed and smiled and went through my tricks like a happy little fellow. But in the dressing room, it was different.
I did not like your performance tonight, Gorgo.
But what was wrong with the Petrov?
You were slow. You landed too heavily. You did not smile enough.
Yeah, but they liked this, Petrov. You heard them. We got 3 curtain calls.
We should have gotten 5.
Petrov, I did my best. My very best. Believe me.
Your best was not good enough, little one. Perhaps you will do better tomorrow if I lock you in your room tonight without supper.
That was Vladimir Petrov, a gorilla of a man and master of my body and soul. How I hated him. How many times I wept in the silence of my room. All my life I had walked in the shadows of bigger people. See, all my life I had looked up instead of straight ahead, endured the stares of the curious and sensed the pity that was in their hearts. And that was why I used to wait in the alley near the stage door between performances, because it was dark there. I loved the dark. It protected me and hid me from those who stared and mocked. One night...
I beg your pardon. You were Gorgo?
Yes?
My name is Dr. Mead. I saw your performance earlier tonight. I was just coming in to see you.
Yes? What about?
Well, I happen to be an expert in glandular work, particularly in the function of the pituitary or growth gland. I think the results of my recent experiments will interest you.
I don't understand, Dr. Mead.
Did you ever hear of XR3?
XR3? No.
Well, it's an extract, a synthetic, I discovered about 2 years ago. In my experiments to date, whenever I injected it into stunted or dwarfed animals, they grew.
They grew?
Yes.
You mean to normal size?
Well, by using controlled doses, yes.
You mean if you could do this with animals, then you could...
I don't know, Gorgo. I think the time has come to try. Except for your size, you were perfectly formed, just what I've been looking for. I came to ask you if you'd volunteer.
Yes.
You understand, I can't guarantee a thing.
I understand, and that doesn't matter. Dr. Mead, you don't know what it means, even the chance. A chance to grow to normal size. Why,
One thing, though, I must have your written permission.
My permission? Yes, Dr. Mead, I'll give it to you gladly. I'll do anything.
You speak a little hastily, do you not, Gorgo?
Petrov.
Yes, little one. I'm sorry, Dr. Mead. I'm afraid you will have to find someone else for your experiments.
Someone else?
My little friend cannot act as your guinea pig without my consent. You see, I am Gorgo's legal guardian, and I have the papers to prove it.
No, Petrov, no, you've got to give me this chance.
Silence, little fool. As I said, I am sorry, Doctor, but...
But, my dear sir, if I can make Gorgo grow to normal size...
If you did, what would become of our act? It would be worthless. The people come to see Big Petrov and Little Gorgo.
Do you mean to say, Mr. Petrov, that you would let your vaudeville act stand in the way?
Yes. I spent years building the team of Petrov and Gorgo. Do you think I am going to let you ruin my investment now?
Petrov, please let him do it. You've got to.
Shut up, you little fool, and get inside.
Petrov!
As for you, Doctor, I wouldn't advise you to come around here again.
This was a blow I could not stand. Dr. Mead had opened a prison door for me, and Petrov had slammed it shut again. I resolved then that come what may, I would have my chance. The very idea of the XR3, of becoming a man like other men, made me drunk and gave me daring. One morning, while Petrov was away, I paid a visit to Dr. Mead at his office and begged him to try the experiment without Petrov's permission.
I'm sorry, Gorgo, but I cannot. The experiment would be very delicate if anything should happen without your guardian's legal permission.
No, I'll run the risk, Dr. Mead. I'll be glad to.
I'm sorry, but it can't be done.
I see. Dr. Mead.
Yes?
Just what does this XR3 look like?
Well, I've made it up in capsule form. Here, I have a whole bottle of the capsules in my desk drawer. As you see, they're green in color.
So those are the magic capsules. Thank you for letting me see them, Doctor. Thank you very much. Late that night, I slipped out of my hotel room and down the fire escape. Keeping in the shadows, I went to Dr. Mead's office and climbed through the grilled bars in the window. It was easy for a man of my size, and when I left, I had the bottle of XR3 capsules in my pocket. Well, that was Saturday night. I took one capsule, and then another. They made me ill, lightheaded. Then I fell into a deep sleep. And then A knock on the door wakened me.
Who is it?
Pedro, why are you sleeping so late?
I don't feel well.
Ah, my little one does not feel well. What a pity.
Please, Petrov, I want to sleep.
Very well. Today is Sunday and there is no performance. But tomorrow, my little Gorgo, you had better be in the best of health, understand? Otherwise, I'll see that you really become sick.
After he left, I fell into the deep sleep again. And then something woke me. My muscles ached as though I had been stretched on a rack. It was daylight again. It was Monday. My pajamas seemed uncomfortably tight, and I looked down, and the sleeves only reached my elbows. I stared, and my heart stopped beating. Then I remembered the XR3. Like a drunken man, I staggered over to the mirror, looked. Yes, I had grown. I had grown. My pajamas were stretched to bursting. I was growing. I was at least 5 feet tall. 5 feet tall! It was almost time for the performance now. Petrov would be coming for me any minute, and I didn't want him to see me. Not yet. So I piled furniture against the door and waited.
All right, Gorgo. Time to go to the theater.
I can't go, Petrov. Not tonight. I'm still sick.
What? You little swine, do you think I'm going to postpone a performance because you're sick? Open the door.
No. Petrov, no. Don't come in. Don't come in.
You little fool. I'll break every bone in your body.
I had the key, and I heard it turning in the lock. The furniture against the door would only hold for a minute, and I ran to my valise, took out a straight razor, and then, like a frightened animal, I waited.
Barricade the door, will you? I assure you what it means to be. Now, my little Gorgo. In the name of heaven, what?
Yes, Petrov. I got it. I stole the XR3, and I took it. Now, you see...
You idiot. Do you realize what you've done? You've ruined the act. You've ruined it, do you hear?
Yes, but I'm a man now. I'm a man, not a dwarf. They won't stare at me now. They won't...
No? That's what you think. If that doctor could make you grow, he can make you small again. Smaller than ever.
No, Petrov, no!
Yes, Gorgo. You've grown, but not so much that I can't handle you. We're going to see him right now.
Petrov, no! Let me alone, for heaven's sake!
Don't struggle, you! The razor! No, don't!
I told you to leave me alone. I told you. And now it's all over. We've played our last performance together, Petrov.
A doomed man sitting in the death house pauses in his story, recalling the first time the clock struck 12 for
Murder at midnight.
March 21st, 1947, Murder at Midnight on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of Murder at Midnight and the Secret of XR3 from March 21st, 1947.
And now here is Gorgo again, continuing his story to the priest in the death house.
I stayed in my hotel room another day and took 2 more XR3 capsules. And when I looked into the mirror that night, I was over 6 feet tall. That was enough. That was all I wanted. Now I would leave the hotel. They'd never know who killed Petrov. They'd be looking for Gorgo, a 3-foot midget. Never suspect me. Yes, I was in the clear. I stripped Petrov, put on his clothes. They were a little tight, but they did well enough. Then I went through the lobby and into the night. The mere experience of walking was exciting, exhilarating, as though I were walking on a high fence. And nobody looked at me twice. The staring eyes were gone. I was normal. First, I had to find a place to live. I passed by a boarding house with a sign, "Room to Let." I rang the bell.
Yeah, what is it? Oh, hello.
Hello. My name is Baker, John Baker. I saw your sign about a room.
Yeah. Well, would you like to see it, big boy?
If you don't mind.
I don't mind a bit. Come in. Come in. It's a lovely room. We got a nice class of people. I'm sure you'll like it.
I'm sure I will. But first, Miss...
Devlin. Rhoda Devlin.
Yeah, Miss Devlin, I just wanted to say I've been living in hotels all my life, and I can't give you any references.
Forget it. My mother owns the place, and, well, we're not exactly formal. Besides, you look good to me.
I do?
Yeah. I always did go for big men.
Big?
Yeah.
Oh. And I've always liked pretty girls. This was a dream come true. I was a normal man, and a normal girl was attracted to me. She was blonde and blue-eyed, and her head came up to my shoulder. A week passed. A week that was beyond my wildest dreams. I took Rhoda out, and we went everywhere. I fell in love with her. Madly in love. She was so small, so delicate. I wanted to protect her always. She had opened up a new and magic world to me, a world of light and love and laughter. And then, one night it happened. I was taking Rhoda home from the movies, and we were passing a billiard parlor, and there were several idlers in front of the place. They began saying things.
Hey, look at the giant.
Yeah. How's the weather up there, big boy?
Hey, Charlie, what do you got there, Pike's Peak?
You wait here, Rhoda. I'll shut their mouths for them. All right. I crack the skull of the next man who opens his mouth.
Please, Johnny, don't bother with them.
Yeah, but they're saying...
I know, but don't mind them. Let's keep walking.
No, I want...
Please.
All right.
Well, what do you know? The big baboon trying to throw his weight around.
I wanted to smash their jeering faces, knock them down. But Rhoda and I walked on to her mother's boarding house, and she was strangely silent as we entered the dimly lit foyer. She hadn't said a single word since we had passed that billiard parlor. I was vaguely disturbed. I took her in my arms, but she pushed me away.
No, please, don't.
What's the matter, baby? Is it what those men at the billiard parlor said?
I don't know. It seems to me you're growing bigger. Right before my eyes.
Growing bigger?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought at first I was seeing things, but now I know it's true. I know it's crazy, but when we first met, the top of my head reached your shoulders. And now...
Yeah? What about now?
Now it doesn't reach your shoulders anymore. You've grown bigger.
Now, Rhoda, you don't know what you're saying. This is your imagination.
No, it's true. We'd better not see each other anymore. I'm afraid of you, John. You're too big now. Good night.
No, Rhoda, listen.
Oh, don't
no,
touch
Rhoda,
me.
please.
Oh, let go of my arm.
No, not until you hear what I have to say. Rhoda, I love you. Do you hear? I love you, and I'm not going to let you just toss me aside.
Let me go, you big love. Let me...
No, stop that. No, stop that screaming. You want to wake the whole street up.
Go.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop that screaming. Stop, I say. Stop.
Let me go.
Yeah.
You're hurting me. I can't breathe. Help.
Hey, Rhoda.
March 24th, 1947, The Secret of XR3, an episode of Murder at Midnight on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Stay tuned.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Murder at Midnight, The Secret of XR3 from March 21st, 1947.
No. Her lifeless body sagged in my arms. I'd forgotten my own strength, and in my fury I'd strangled her. Like a man in a dream, I lowered her body gently to the floor and then turned to look at my reflection in the full-length mirror in the foyer. Yes! Yes, it was true. The pitiless mirror reflected a giant. I'd grown at least 6 inches. The XR3 had continued its work, was making me grow even now. Now I was a freak again. They stared at me again and pitied me. The beautiful, normal world I had so briefly enjoyed came crashing down over my ears. I ran out of the house like a wild man and into the street. Dr. Meade. Yes, I had to see him. At once, I ran to his office, avoiding the well-lit streets, and the light was on, and I prayed that he was in. I knocked on the door.
Yes, what?
Good Lord.
Hello, Dr. Meade. You remember me?
Why, no, I can't say that I do.
Look up into my face, Doctor. The features are the same you looked down upon not so long ago.
Gorgo the midget.
No, Dr. Meade. It's Gorgo the giant now.
So it was you who stole the bottle of XR3 capsules from my desk?
Yes.
And this is the result. This and Petrov's murder.
He deserved to die.
That does not alter the fact that it still was murder.
Dr. Meade! I'm not here to argue law with you.
I want you to save me. You've got to stop this growing process. But how? What can I do?
An antidote. You must have an antidote.
I'm sorry, but I haven't. There just isn't any.
What? No antidote? Oh, you're lying.
I assure you I'm telling the truth, Gorgo. I was interested in making things grow, not making them smaller.
Yeah. Then I'm lost. There's no way out.
I'm sorry.
All my life I was a little man. I wanted to know what it was like to be a big man. Now I am big. Too big. Isn't that amusing, Doctor? Too little and then too big. Like the swing of a pendulum. I wish I were little again. As I knew what to expect then. I was used to that. Now they'll stare at me again. They'll laugh and jeer at me. Gorgo the giant. Gorgo the giant.
I think we'd better call the police, Gorgo.
Well, Father, that's my story. See, that's why I'm here in the death house. Now, tell me, am I evil?
No, my son. You have been unfortunate, but not evil. You have sinned, yes. But you have been sinned against, too, and they're coming for you, Gorgo.
I hear. And I'm glad.
Glad?
Yes, glad. I don't mind dying now. This world, Father, what has it ever meant to me? But there, in the next world, there no man will be strange, and all will be equal. And perhaps there I will find peace.
With firm and measured tread, the man who was first too small and then too big walks down the corridor. And the iron doors along the way rattle and clang like the chiming of the clock when it first struck 12 for
murder at midnight.
Remember to be with us again when death walks through the darkness with giant strides and the clocks strike 12 for
murder at midnight.
The part of Gorgo was played by Carl Swenson. With music by Charles Paul, Murder at Midnight was directed by Anton M. Leader.
March 21st, 1947, Murder at Midnight on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just two of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, let's head to 79 Wistful Vista for an episode of Fibber McGee and Molly. This episode originally broadcast March 21st, 1956.
Miles Laboratories, makers of Alka-Seltzer, bring you another visit with Fibber McGee and Molly. Again, we invite you to listen to the transcribed adventures of Fibber McGee and Molly. The show is written by Phil Leslie and directed by Max Hutto.
Oh, that Bonton was really crowded, McGee. I just bought some stockings, that's all. What'd you do, anything?
Oh, not much. Ran into Wally Wimple, Kramer's drugstore. We went over and stood in front of the Pancake Palace a while, watched the cook flip flapjacks in the window.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
You know, the way that fella pitches those pancakes always fascinates me.
Well, they got a new guy working in the window this week. Old Pancake Pete's not there anymore.
After all these years, what happened? He quit?
They don't seem to know exactly what happened to him. Wimp was there Thursday during the lunch hour, and he saw the whole thing.
Oh? Well, what happened?
He said old Pete was at his griddle there in the window cooking pancakes like he's been doing there for 17 years. And all at once he got a kind of a funny look on his face, picked up a buckwheat cake with his turner, and stuck it on the ceiling. Slammed it right up there, way out in the middle of the restaurant.
My goodness, on the ceiling?
Mm-hmm. Hung there for a couple of seconds and then dropped an old man McDonald's split pea soup. Like to drown in it.
I'd like to have been there and seen that.
Good thing you weren't, because from there on out it was bedlam. The manager started over to bawl him out, and Pete popped him in the puss with a hot, wet pancake that wrapped around his head like an Indian turban. Then he started firing them at everybody in range, and Wimp says inside of 3 minutes there was batter hanging on every customer in the joint.
Heavenly
Then he took off his apron and his tall white hat, laid him on the griddle, struck a match to him, and walked out the front door into an open manhole. Hasn't been heard from since.
Well, it just goes to show you never can tell, doesn't it?
Yeah. Sometimes the quietest... Oh, hey, are you in any hurry to get home? Let's go in the bookstore here and look around a while, will you?
Oh, good.
I got a yen to read a good book tonight. I haven't read any really good books for a long time.
Hey there, daughter. Hey, Johnny, wait up.
Oh, the old-timer. Hello, Mr. Old-timer.
Oh, hi, old-timer.
Hey, where you going, kid? Someplace?
Just going in the bookstore here. Going to buy a book.
Well, now, that's a fine idea, Johnny. I think every home ought to have a book in it. I was saying to my girlfriend, Bessie, just last night. Bessie, I say.
Say, how is Bessie, anyhow? Haven't heard much about her lately.
Oh, she's just fine, daughter. Been pretty busy with the music lately, but otherwise...
Music? I didn't know Bessie was a musician.
Oh, Bessie comes from a very outstanding musical family, kids.
Yeah?
Her papa plays first jug with the Ozark Philharmonic. Her mama is a left-handed zither picker, and Bessie's got a sister who's the only girl that ever went over Niagara Falls in a bass fiddle. Had a sister, I should say, I guess.
Well, that's quite a musical background she has. What sort of music does Bessie play?
Lousy, daughter. Just plain lousy. Bought herself a second-hand steam calliope from a broken-down showboat last winter and started learning to play it.
A calliope? Holy smoke.
Seems like the poor girl spends so much time moving and hunting for new places to live that she don't get much time to practice, kids.
Well, I can understand that all right.
Say, you kids got a spare bedroom? Would you like to...
No, thanks.
No,
we're kind of crowded.
Well, just thought I'd ask. She's sitting on the sidewalk in front of her last place right now. Her and the calliope and a deputy sheriff. She's only got 2 hours to get out of the neighborhood. And hey, see, ain't that Miss Spradley crossing the street there?
Where? Oh, yes, it is. Hello, Mrs. Spradley.
Hey, see you later, kids. Hey, Miss Spradley. Miss Spradley, you're a music lover with a spare bedroom. How'd you like to rent it to a very fine musician friend of mine? Why, I could move her stuff in while you're downtown here. By the time you get home...
My, poor Mrs. Spradley has no idea what she's in for.
I hope he gets away with it. Well, come on, let's go in the bookstore and see what we can find.
Okay. What sort of book did you have in mind, dearie? One of those Hemingway Savage Buckets of Blood or the Zombie Comics yearbook?
No, I'm not in the mood for that stuff today, my dear. I want to pick up a good second-hand copy of Sir Walter Scott's Ivanhoe.
What?
Or if they haven't got that, maybe old Chuck Dickens' Tale of Two Cities. I know exactly the kind of book I want.
Well, for heaven's sake, come on, before you change your mind.
You haven't got a good second-hand copy of Tale of Two Cities either, huh?
No, I'm sorry, but we haven't, sir. I have a handsome new edition here of the complete Dickens.
No, thanks, sis. That's not quite what I'm looking for.
It's only $5 and a very nice...
Oh, no, that's not at all what we're looking for. We'll just browse around.
Well, if I can help you, you just call me. Oh, yes, madam. Did you find what you're looking for?
Come on over this way, McGee. They have a lot of second-hand books down here.
Okay, I'll look over the stuff.
Well, of all places to find you, McGee. A bookstore.
Oh, hi, Doc.
What'd you come in here for? It's not raining outside.
Oh, now, Dr. Gamble, that's not very nice.
Oh, hiya, Molly. I didn't see you.
McGee came in here to buy a book, Doctor.
Naturally.
Oh, pardon me. What's he looking for, Molly? A copy of Tom Swift and his Mechanical Toenails? Or maybe the Campfire Girls meet Errol Flynn?
Oh, Doctor.
On second thought, that stuff would be a little too grown up for him, wouldn't it? We way over little dim domes, little dumb domes, sure.
As a matter of fact, Doctor, he himself came in here hoping to pick up a good second-hand copy of Sir Walter Scott's Ivanhoe, or maybe something by Charles Dickens.
Tale of Two Cities is the one I want. I was looking at some books that Teeny was taking back to school the other day, and it just reminded me that I haven't done any good reading lately,
Well,
so what I'm
say, I'm really proud of you, Sonny. You may rub a little culture into him yet, Molly.
Who's talking about culture? The only culture you know anything about, Fatso, is the kind you keep in your lab to grow that cheap penicillin in that you charge us $5 a jab for.
What brings you in here, Doctor? Are you buying or just looking?
Me? Just browsing around, Molly. I like to keep up with the new good books, sort of watch the literary trends and see what
Dr. Gamble, that book you've been asking about came in today.
Huh? I
have it right here for you. My Life in the Sultan's Harem by Florence of Arabia. That's the one.
Just wrap it up. Charge it to me. Here, I'll take it. Let's not make a big fuss about it.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Did you ever see anybody turn so red?
Boy, him and his culture. Of all the high-class books to buy, Life in the Sultan's Harem. If that ain't the silliest... I wonder how much it is.
Never mind. Come on, there's some nice used books over this way. Maybe you can find just what you want.
Sure. It don't have to be Ivanhoe. I just happened to pick up the one Teeny had, and it struck me that was the kind of book I've been looking for, but if they got something else here that strikes me right, I'll take it. Got your key, kiddo? Oh, never mind. Here's mine.
I'm sorry you couldn't find the book you wanted, dearie, but I'm sure that copy of David Copperfield will give you just as much.
Oh, sure. This book will be swell. It was a darn good buy, too, you know that, for a buck?
Yes, it was. In pretty good shape, isn't it?
Sure. A few pages are wrote on, but that don't hurt. Good sound book. Sturdy binding. Book like this will last forever.
The story will, anyhow. You know, I don't understand this sudden thirst for good literature, dearie, but I'm certainly pleased about it. Say, what brought on this homegrown renaissance?
Oh, I don't know. I just got thinking the other day, after all that Hemingway Savage stuff and them murder stories and things I've been reading, it just suddenly struck me I ought to read something different for a change.
Well, I'm for that. Anything different from that muck.
Well, I suddenly remembered a great old classic that I always loved, and I haven't read it for years.
Oh?
I just had an urge to read it again.
Well...
A real saga of the Old West.
The West?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now, wait. Dickens didn't write about the West. You're a little...
I know that. The book I'm talking about is a classic.
Oh?
You remember it, Molly. One my Uncle Sycamore sent me from Arizona. Confessions of a Saddle Bum by Sagebrush Hawkins.
Huh? That? But, I don't understand.
For the last 5 years, my dear, Confessions of a Saddle Bum has been holding up the corner of my workbench with the short leg on it in the garage.
But you were trying to buy Ivanhoe and Tale of Two Cities.
Sure, because when Teeny stopped by here with those books the other day, I measured them both under the leg of my workbench, and they just fit. But she wouldn't let me keep either one of them.
But But I don't...
This book I got here is the exact same size, and I'm going out to the garage right this minute and slip it under that short leg.
Oh, for the will of all love.
And boy, oh boy, when I stretch out on that Davenport with a cold root beer, a hot cigar, and Confessions of a Saddle Bum, I'll have the most literary evening you
Well,
ever
if
had.
this isn't ridiculous.
Ladies and gentlemen, most of us take normal good health pretty much for granted. We don't consider it any great exciting thing to be able to stand up and walk and move around as we please.
But to thousands of crippled children, the greatest dream in the world, the most exciting thing they can think of, is just to be able to walk. Just walk, anywhere.
We can help them make this dream come true. Through the National Society for Crippled Children and Adults, the Easter Seal Society, thousands of crippled children are slowly learning to walk today.
In rehabilitation centers, in clinics, in home services, and in camps, your Easter Seal dollars are bringing constant help to our thousands of crippled children and adults, and without our help, they have no hope.
So don't put it off, please. Mail your contribution to Crippled Children in care of your local post office. Remember, we alone can help them walk. Bye.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Fibber McGee and Molly, transcribed, is brought to you Mondays through Fridays at this time by Miles Laboratories, makers of Alka-Seltzer. The Old Timer is played by Bill Thompson and Dr. Gamble by Arthur Q. Bryan. Mary Lansing was the woman. This is John Wall telling you that tomorrow there is a telephone mystery at 79 Wistful Vista. Tune in for details. So long.
Oh, Fibber McGee, he's always got something weird going on, doesn't he? Just the way he wants to handle stuff. From March 21st, 1956, Fibber McGee and Molly on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You may not have exactly the kind of design for living you dream about, but you can keep up and improve your own home or apartment so that it's an asset to you and your community. Slum conditions don't remain only in a neglected house. They spread from building to building, from block to block. A slum area starts in one house. You can prevent slums by keeping your own home spotless. You can also help prevent slums in your block and your community by taking a giant step called action. The American Council to Improve Our Neighborhoods invites you to join them in prevention of fast-spreading slums. You can join with your neighbors in this program of housing improvement. Write for the free booklet that means better living for all Americans, with advice and guidance about prevention of slums. The address is Action, Box 20, Radio City Station, New York. That's Action, Box 20, Radio City Station, New York. This has been a public service message of CBS Radio.
Thanks so much for making us a part of your day here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Would you do me a favor and thank this radio station and support their advertisers? It is their kindness and courtesy that Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues to be here on your favorite radio station. Drop them a card or a letter. Do business with them when you can. I'll appreciate it, and so will they. Would you also do me a favor? If you miss a day on this station, you don't have to miss the show. You can find all of our programs on demand at iHeartRadio, at Spotify, at Spreaker, at TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Amazon. Just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. And could you do me another favor? Visit my webpage. It's classicradio.stream. You can also stream our shows there, but more, you can also learn more about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can find all our social media contacts there, and you can contact me directly. That's classicradio.stream. Have yourself a great day, and tell all your friends, for heaven's sakes, the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.